What's going on, everyone? I want to show you guys a trade setup that I made just under $1,000, about $868 in today's markets with my Apex Trader funding account. Today is April the 17th. My trading has definitely taken a drastic turn from what I was doing 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. I was taking a lot of very quick and easy scalps, 5 points here, 6 points there. One thing that I was realizing that I was draining a whole lot of mental equity. For one, I do not copy trade, which I am going to slowly transition into copy trading more accounts together. I was taking way too many trades just for my own sanity at times, because a lot of times when I'm trading these individual accounts, I'm looking for, 2 or 3 or 4 different setups per account each day. And realistically, it's so mentally taxing. Can we sit here on a small time frame, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute time frame, find a dozen trade ideas today? Absolutely. Are all of those trade ideas going to be the best? Probably not, right? So you're going to mix in some subpar setups, you're going to mix in some losers, and at the end of the day, you're going to have a really good day, or you're going to have a flat day, or you're going to have a blow up day, right? So I was kind of tired of, going through week by week by week, feeling like I was grinding my absolute ass off to get my accounts to pay out, right? So what I did is I'm taking a step back and focusing trading futures the way that I trade stocks, the way that I trade equities, the way that I trade options, okay? Which is looking for 1 or 2 key levels in the market, depending on if the overall thesis is a little bit more bearish or the overall thesis of the macro chart is a little bit more bullish. And I'm realistically waiting for those setups to confirm. And when those setups confirm, I want to hammer them home. If they fail, great. We're essentially probably done trading on the day because that trade idea was invalidated, right? And there's no reason for me to kind of, spin my wheels in the mud and take a million different trades. So let's get into what I'm doing. A couple quick adjustments. Using and utilizing the 15-minute time frame, okay? Utilizing this 15-minute time frame allows me to control my risk in a sense where I can size down and trade some micros, and I can actually allow these trades to work out. Number 2, instead of scalping every quick drop and every quick pop, I'm playing a lot more bigger macro levels. So some of these areas of supply and demand that you see on my chart, these are areas that I've come up with that are going back for the previous 5 days worth of trading. Okay. So I'm taking some significant highs, some significant lows, areas of consolidation over the previous week of trading, and I'm trading around those levels. So when we're like stuck in the middle of a range, right? So if we're in between this supply and we're in between this demand, and let's say, for example, we're trading inside the middle of this range, I have no desire to trade in the middle of the range. Now, if I was to drop down into a 1 minute, 2 minute time frame, could I find a long here? Sure. Could I have found a long here? Sure. Would I have been stopped out maybe on this big drastic 100-point pullback? Probably. If I was trading 3, 4, 5 mini contracts and I was on the wrong side of a move, I'm going to erase 3, 4, 5 winning trades, and then it's just going to send me on emotional tilt and an emotional roller coaster. So today's thought process was to analyze the chart top down. What did we do in the overnight session? We put in a little bit of a high here towards 18,655. I do have a supply zone right above that. I've got a key level at 18,680. So if I was to kind of take out these highs today, right, the overnight highs, 18,655, I would have not wanted to long into that supply. I would have needed to see 18,680 get broken, and then I would have needed to see price continue over that. So no long position. If anything, we were trending down. We had a little bit of a spike here. Market was putting in these lower highs. Okay, so lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Market's kind of trending down. What I was looking at here was this key level, 18,512, which I'm going to make a follow-up video because there was a trade towards the end of the day that went for over 120, over 150 points. Okay. And it was revolving around this 18,500 level. But the trade of the day that I want to kind of emphasize was when we lost this key level of 512 in the pre-market, and then we kind of spiked going into the open. When I seen that we put in this second lower high, my bias was 100% short. Okay, so at this point in time, I would need to get over 18,680 before longs even looked appetizing, right? So what I want to focus on is if we confirm 18,455, right, which was the low once we lost this key level in New York session. Okay, so stick with me. As soon as we lost 18,512, I don't really trade pre-market. I don't trade London. So in this particular case, my entry for a scalp would have been here if I did trade pre-market, because this is the 512 area that was broken. This is your confirmation candle. Take your quick scalp, right? But I don't trade the pre-market. So what I'm looking at is I'm gathering the pre-market data, and I'm looking at what did we do? Did we confirm any key levels? And if we did, what is the lowest price printed or highest price printed in that whole formation where I can wait for a good trade? It literally was the first 15-minute candle of the day. First 15-minute candle opens up, immediately gets rejected at 512. This is aligning with what I want to do. I want to continue to trade to the downside. As soon as we confirm the low, I jumped in short. And when I jumped in short, I went in with 5 micros, and I took around 55 points on this initial flush. Okay, beautiful trade. So for me, depending on how many micros I'm trading and depending on how much room I have into my measured potential, right? Meaning if we just broke down this whole area of demand, what's the next major area of demand? Okay, so from there, I do a little bit of math, right? I'm not the brightest in the world, but I do a little bit of math. What is the potential if this move was to do the best case possible scenario? Okay, so I take that from 18,455 down to 18,305. This is about 150 points worth of measured potential, right? So in this particular case, I then analyze it from the flip side. What is my risk? Well, this trade would be invalid if we break and hold over 18,512, right? If we break and hold over that key level. So essentially, as soon as this candle confirms, I want to sit short. And when I'm trading 5 micro contracts, for every micro contract, every 50 points that I grab is going to be a $100 winner. So if I'm trading 5 micro contracts, then it's an automatic $500 winning trade. To see a $500 winning trade 5 minutes off the bell, especially if you're trading prop firms, it's good enough for a one and done in my books, right? What are the odds that you're going to sit there and continue to trade day in and day out after you find A+ setups that you've already done the homework for and not take a loser here or there, right? The losing trade is always knocking at the door. So the way that I like to approach my trading mentally is if I'm able to catch a good move, especially off the open, I'm looking to just wrap it up, okay? Now, I actually double backed into this move. Same idea, same thought process of we confirmed 18,455. As soon as this candle put in a low, it immediately spiked back and back tested 512. Notice the second 15-minute candle here. So an immediate back test of 512. Once we rejected 512 and we failed to break over this supply, lights, camera, action. Let's roll into the second trade idea, which is still in line with taking the short through the 455s. And that was the 30-minute opening range break. That was through this candle here below 377. Now in this particular situation, my risk to reward is a little bit skewed, because if I know that any price that breaks and holds over 512, this idea short becomes invalid. And if I see that my measured potential is down here at 305, well, now this risk is a lot more negative than it is positive. So in this particular situation, if we confirm the 30-minute opening range break, I know that I've got this demand zone here. I'm not expecting it, right? Because we can have a quick wick and a quick rejection and a trap. I'm not expecting it to get to this move, but I just am open to the idea of if this works out perfectly, it's going to trade down to 305. So in this particular case, what I want to do is think a little bit more scalp mentality. I just want to add a little bit more to the trade I already took. So I might just look for a scalp instead of looking for another 50 points, another full 75 points, which would have been the measured potential. If I can grab 15, 20 points off this move, I'll be happy, because now at that point, I'll be up close to 70 points. I'll be up close to $700, $800 on this potential trade. On this trade, same thing. As soon as we confirmed 18,377, I went short with another 5 contracts, and we picked up over $200 on this trade as we traded down into this demand. Done. Literally done. I got on a mentorship call with one of the members that's in Evolution Traders 30-day bootcamp, and we basically sat there for about 2 hours and we talked about price. We talked about the markets. We talked about life. We talked about risk management. We talked about prop firms. In this whole time, there was a little bit of a bounce. I also gave out, for some people who didn't take this trade, we gave out this reversal here to kind of catch this bounce into supply here. That paid and worked out for many members. But literally, we just kind of sat here and we waited and we waited and we just, shooted the shit. And there was another trade that came right here at my rejection. 18,512 yet again comes into play. You see 1 test, you see 2 test, you see 3 test, inverse hammer. If we lose this area, I want to be short. And I got short later on in the day for another 50 plus points. So all in all today, over 125 points taken out of the markets, legitimately on 2 trades built around one level, that 512 level. Let's call it 500, 18,500. Everything today revolved around the key level on my chart of 18,500. That's it. Watching the 15-minute time frame, not chasing and trying to go back and forth every 5 minutes. And realistically, if the first trade of the day didn't work and it stopped me out, maybe there's one more area of opportunity to take that next trade. But realistically, 1 trade idea, 2 trade ideas max, and you can pretty much wrap it up. Trading micros, making sure my risk, because I am risking a little bit of points here between this level and this level, not wanting to trade too many mini contracts, handful of micros will do the job. And again, you can manage days like that where you make 50, 60, 70 points. You can manage that against a potential 50-point loser, right? If you make $250 or you make $500 and you're risking $200 on the day, then every winning day that you have is going to be equal to or greater than every losing day that you have, right? But a lot of times as traders, we take a $200 winning trade. The next trade doesn't work out. We were over leveraged. We lose $700. Then we take a $50 scalp. Then we take a $100 scalp. Then we take a $300 loser. And you're always kind of chasing, the tail. You're like a dog that's running around in circles chasing its own tail. It's very hard to kind of get yourself back above ground when you're taking very small wins and then you have big losses, right? That creates a lot of pressure on yourself. That creates you to do a lot of things outside of your trading plan. And realistically, this fits my personality a lot more, okay? And for a very long time, I thought that grabbing those quick profits of 5 points fit my personality more because of the fact that I was able to rack up a lot of winning trades, and I was able to rack up a lot of winning days and a lot of payouts over the past year and a half, to be honest, trading that way. But what it was doing to me mentally and the stress on a week in and week out basis by feeling like I needed to get 10 trades, 15 trades a day. Because remember, at this current moment in time, I'm trading over 10 funded accounts. So if I'm trading each one of these accounts individually, well, a $100 trade on one account is great, but I still need to take 8 or 9 more trades, or at least I need to feel like I need to take 8 or 9 more trades to be able to get all of those accounts traded. Now, did I trade each individual account every single day? Absolutely not. There were some days where I got around to trading 2 or 3 accounts, making a couple $100 account, $500 an account, and then wrapping it up. And what I was starting to notice is that a lot of my accounts were just going to the wayside and sometimes not being traded for 3 days, for 4 days, sometimes even all week. So the length and the amount of time that it was taking me to get each individual account to pay out was far greater than if I just really focus and look at bigger key levels, try to make 1 or 2 trades a day based around my homework and the research that I've put into the chart work, into my technical analysis the night prior. And if the trade works out, great, we can lock up all accounts on the day. We can take much bigger winners. And if the trade idea doesn't work or the price action is not cooperating around my key levels, we walk away and we come back tomorrow. And tomorrow's winning day can be 3-4 times the amount of the losing day that we took the day prior. I hope that makes sense. If you guys want to get involved in learning the new way that I'm trading, utilizing higher time frames such as 4-hour demand and supply levels, 1-hour demand and supply levels, utilizing the 15-minute chart, taking bigger moves and trading less to make more, definitely join Evolution Traders. That link is down in the description box below. Great community, great course. I also offer the course where you guys can learn all of my micro scalping strategies, my hyper scalping strategies. You can get involved with the community. You can trade live with us. I offer a boot camp as well, which is a little bit more personalized and in-depth, where we get on one-on-one calls a couple of times a week, or you can listen to my live trading a few times a week. That's also involved in that as well. If you guys need Apex evaluations, right now they're 80% off. You can use my discount code. My discount code is DAnthony. I would highly appreciate it. It kind of helps fuel the channel here. Every little bit helps. And with that being said, also make sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to leave me a comment. Let me know how you guys did trading this week. I'm always curious to know how my viewers did this week. Did you find it difficult? Did you find it easy? Love to chop it up with you guys and hear about that. And make sure you guys are subscribed. If you guys do enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel. We're just a little bit away from hitting 10,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. We've been on YouTube now for about 4 years, so it's been a slow grind, a steady process. I'm not one of these traders who, is only here when the times are good or when I make a lot of money, and then if I lose everything or I lose money, I'm just magically disappear. I show up to work every day, each and every single day. Been trading for 13 years now, and we continue to do this. We continue to grow. We continue to get better. We continue to evolve, right? We continue to evolve. That's the biggest thing. There's always an evolution of not only yourself, but the markets, your style, and everything, right? So with that being said, hope you guys all enjoy your weekend. Happy Easter, guys. Good Friday tomorrow. Markets are closed. Enjoy some time off away from the screens. I will be working this weekend. I will be making some educational content for my community as well as for YouTube. With that being said, guys, God bless, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.